So how do you survive on $50 worth of SNAP benefits? If you're wondering what does SNAP stand for, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, also known as food stamps. So if you have been assigned $50 worth of SNAP benefits, you are expected to chip in some of your own money to help purchase your groceries for the month. Now that was one of the things that I learned when I did my first video. I thought that SNAP benefits was meant to replace your grocery budget, and it is not. It is meant to supplement or augment your grocery budget. And I know several people responded and said they have more month left over at the end of the money, so it is very difficult to do. So I tried to think of what are some things that you could do to supplement those $50 worth of SNAP benefits. And one of the things you will simply have to try to be able to do is come up with some money of your own. So for this grocery haul, this is a $100 grocery haul that I spent simulating $50 worth of SNAP benefits and then $50 worth of my own money. So the first thing I did was I went to the Community Harvest Food Bank here in our town, and they do have these food banks in other cities. And at the food bank on Saturday morning, you can just drive up and they will put a box of groceries in your car. You can come every week. You don't have to sign in. You just show up. They put the food in your car in a box, and all they ask is that you bring the box back next week so they can repack it. What do they give you in those drive-bys? Well, one of the first things that is almost always in those boxes are onions. They tend to have fresh produce, and fresh produce that is in season. So I knew I could get onions at the Community Harvest Food Bank, so I didn't put those on my grocery list. Also, carrots tend to be in the box that they give, as well as celery. And then they will also put in their seasonal vegetables. So right now, what's in season in our area? Squash, winter squash like acorn squash or spaghetti squash. So those things might be in your box, as well as cabbages. And then they also will try to put in some spicy kind of produce like green peppers. And then of course there's also some zucchini that's in there as well. And then sometimes you can also pick up lemons when you go. If you're able to get a food voucher from the township trustee or from a church or somewhere and spend at the Community Harvest Food Bank, then you go during the week. It's like going into a grocery store and you can get, let's say you get 25 pounds of food voucher. Well, then with your 25 pounds of food, you can get 10 pounds of meat and then 15 pounds of other. And then there'll be some free weight things that you can get at the end, such as fresh produce, because they want to get rid of the produce so that it doesn't go bad. And that again will typically include onions, lemons, celery and carrots, as well as seasonal vegetables that are available. Sometimes they will have fresh fruit like apples and grapes and those kind of things. But these are the things that would come in the box for the most part from the Community Harvest Food Bank. Now let me show you what you can get at the Township Trustee. Now what can you get at the Township Trustee's office? Well, the difference with the Township Trustee's office, number one, is that you can only go twice a year. So when you come, you have to sign in, some kind of electronic signature so they know when you've been there, and you can only go twice a year. In comparison to the Community Harvest Food Bank, which you can go every week, every Saturday if you like. But at the Township Trustee's office, you can only go twice a year. And in general, the foods that they have to offer are your non-perishables. So they have lots of canned goods that you can get, such as your greens, your canned soups, different canned vegetables, canned beans, as well as peanut butter, and then boxed foods such as hamburger helper, these kind of onion dip mix, maybe some stovetop stuffing mix, maybe some packages of, say, this kind of cheddar broccoli rice. You can get non-perishable items such as this from the Township Trustee's office, and they do give you quite a bit. Thus, only twice a year you can come. Except for Thanksgiving and Christmas, you can come for a turkey, and you can just come when they're available and say, I came to pick up a turkey, and you can get that turkey without any problem. And sometimes they'll have hot dogs. Not often, but every now and then they'll have hot dogs. And so on your way out, they may provide you with some hot dogs or something like that as well. So this is something else that I would do before I go to the grocery store to spend my $50 worth of SNAP benefits and my $50 grocery budget. So now let me move these things out of the way, and I'll let you see what I spent my $50 SNAP benefits on and my $50 grocery money on. Now, one thing I did forget to mention in regards to the Township Trustee's office locally, once you're ready to check out, they will give you a list of other food pantries in the city that you can go to and pick up some food items. So be sure to get that list and consider making that one of your stops sometime during the month. So now I have my simulated $50 in SNAP benefits and my $50 of grocery money, giving me $100 total to spend this month. And I chose to go to Aldi because I find that I can get better deals there at Aldi. But before I went, the first thing I did was I went online, I set up an online account, and I looked at what were the deals of the week, what did they have available, and I actually began to fill a cart with items that I wanted to purchase. And in so doing, I thought about what would I be able to prepare for the month that will last me for a month, because if I've got $100 worth of money to spend on groceries for a month and I'm going to be feeding 2 people with this food, I need to know what it is I plan to prepare so that when I make my grocery purchases, I'm all set to go. So once I knew what the amount was and the groceries that I picked according to the online shopping apparatus said it would be $98.12, so I was good to go. So then I actually drove to the Aldi's that was closest to my house, because the one that's online for the online shopping was not the closest Aldi to my house. And it was very interesting because what I discovered when I actually went to the Aldi that was closer to my home than the one that I found online, many of the prices in my nearest Aldi was just anywhere from maybe 1 cent to 10 cents cheaper than the one online. So I don't know if some of the things online cost a little bit more because of the fact that people have to actually pick it and, put it together or what, I don't know. But I found that many things were just a little bit higher. So I was able to save a few cents there. So on my list, and where's my list? Where's my phone? My husband says that's one of the questions that I ask most often. Where's my phone? So I have my grocery shopping list on my phone, and I pretty much copied it from the online apparatus. And as I went through the store, I went looking for the things that I had on my list. And one of the things that I wanted to pick up was a whole chicken. They had whole chickens for about $7.71. They were $1.59 a pound, which is pretty reasonable right now as far as chickens go. However, they were out of whole chickens. There was not one to be had in the store, so I wasn't able to buy that. And the other thing that I had on the list was mild Italian sausage. And I decided to get the mild Italian sausage instead of buying breakfast sausage and this mild Italian sausage. I plan to make some soup with this Italian sausage, or we could have like some soup and some sausage and pasta. So I thought, well, we'll have some of this sausage for breakfast. So instead of buying a package of breakfast sausage, I bought this mild Italian, and it'll do double duty. So I did pick up this, and when I looked at it online, it was about 40 cents higher than it actually was in the store. So I got a pretty good deal with that. And then I had planned to get some ground turkey, which there was none in the store. I was going to get 2 packs of ground turkey at $2.50 a pack. They were in little frozen little logs, and they did not have any of that at this particular store, and they didn't have any ground turkey at all. And I did, however, see this package of grass-fed beef stew meat, and it was like $5.87 at $5.99 a pound. So I thought, I was going to get 2 packages of the ground turkey, and I was going to make like either some ground turkey with spaghetti or something like that, or maybe some kind of a shepherd's pie. I thought I'll make beef stew instead, which will serve typically 6 to 8 people. So I got this package of beef stew meat, and I'm planning to make beef stew with that. And then they did have this package of, this family size package of chicken drumsticks. And these chicken legs were $6.66 for this pack. There's 12 drumsticks in here. So I figured if we had 2 each, that would give us 3 days worth of meals with the drumsticks. And not only could we have like the drumsticks with some kind of a veggie, I could make some kind of a chicken soup or stew or taco meat or whatever. So I did pick up these drumsticks. And then I did find this package of ground beef. And this grass-fed ground beef is the 93.7. It was like, I think it was $5.99 a pound. And it was just a few cents less, again, in the store than it was online. So this was right in my price range. And then I picked up a package of thick cut bacon. So we're going to have bacon for breakfast, and then I might need to put some bacon in a soup that I make from time to time. So picked up a pack of bacon, and again, it was right on in line with the price that I had identified. And then 2 cans of tuna. The tuna was 99 cents a can, so I picked up 2 cans of that. So all of this was in there. Now, when I was about to leave the meat section, I just happened to go past, and they still have some turkeys left from Thanksgiving and Christmas. And the turkeys had started out at $1.07 a pound. Then they went down to 77 cents a pound. And they've been at 77 cents a pound for a while. Well, today, turkeys were 47 cents a pound. So I thought, I was going to have my husband take me over to Kroger and pick up a whole chicken, which is going to cost me about $8. And I thought, at 47 cents a pound, I could get this whole turkey for about $8. So that's what I decided to do. So I picked up this frozen turkey, and we're going to have turkey. So I'm going to thaw it out, and I'm going to, some of it I'll either cut off, and then I'll try to grind it up, and so I can have some ground turkey and make some things with that. Or I'll just, cook it all up, and then we'll have roast turkey with some other, in some other ways. And I'll tell you more about those, the dinners that I plan with that in just a minute. So I got this turkey for almost the same amount of money that it would have cost me to buy that whole chicken. So I'm really glad that I got that. So really pleased with that. And then the last thing in this box was 2 packages of chili seasoning mix. And I plan to make chili at least once, if not twice this month. And these were about 67, 68 cents a pack. So I went ahead and picked these up. So that was pretty good. So now let me get this moved out of the way, and then I'll show you the other things that I got. This video is brought to you by Apron Diva. Pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. Visit us at www.aprondiva.com. Now, when I did my ultimate grocery haul challenge, surviving on $30 of SNAP benefits, one of the things that I learned was that when your grocery bill is that tight, there is just no room for error in whatever it is you purchase, and there was also very limited ability to buy fresh foods. So on this grocery haul, I was determined to make sure that I did have some fresh foods, because again, that $30 food budget that I had when I tried it the first time is not sustainable for health. Whereas what I got today is more sustainable for health. And that was my goal, was to make sure that I did have something for health. So one of the first things that we picked up was this bag of apples. My husband grabbed this bag of apples quite quickly, and I was really glad to be able to get those, because there's just so much you can do with apples. In addition to eating the apples raw, just, munch, 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 you can also cut them up and you can fry them and have fried apples, kind of like those cinnamon apples you get at Cracker Barrel. You can put them over pancakes, or you could just have them as a little side dish. So apples were certainly something I wanted to be able to pick up. And then I was going to get 2 cans of green beans, and green beans were about 68 cents a can. But I decided to buy this bag of frozen green beans, because this bag of frozen green beans was about $1.10. So it was a tad bit less expensive than the 2 cans of green beans. But if I'm planning to make either beef stew, chicken stew, or some kind of a soup, the frozen green beans hold up a little bit better in the soups and stews than do the canned green beans. So I decided to get this instead. And then the last time I did that $30 grocery haul, I was unable to really buy, like I said, many vegetables. So I got this broccoli, and since I was saving a little bit here and there, I decided to go ahead and get 2 bags of these broccoli florets. They were about $1.25 a bag, but I decided I just as soon get 2 bags of this maybe and skip something else that I had on my list. So there's that. Now, I went over a little bit when I'm looking at what I had planned to get was on bananas. I was only going to buy 3 bananas so that I'd have some fresh and only spend about 50 cents on the 3 bananas. Well, hubby just grabbed the thing of bananas and threw them in the cart. So there's actually 5 bananas here, but it was still only right around $1.50, so it wasn't like a huge amount, but it was a little bit more than I had anticipated. But I still was able to come in on my budget. Now, one of the things that they also had was this sweet creamery butter, and when I checked online, butter was $4.15, but there in the store it was about $3.50, $3.55. So I saved a little bit here. So that's how I say I saved a little bit here and there, because the 98 and change that I thought I was going to spend didn't actually come out. Well, it still came out to about that, but I was able to pick up some extra things and then eliminate a couple other things because of the lower prices at the local Aldi's that I went to. And then when I got home and I was laying things out, I was like, now why did I get 2 packages of cheese? Well, then I thought, well, one of the meals we'll have is maybe some grilled cheese sandwiches with either some kind of soup. And so I picked up this package of singles, and it was a great price that I was able to get it for. So I thought I can do grilled cheese sandwiches. And then this block cheddar, I thought we're going to have taco bowls, and I can shred some of this to go in the taco bowls. I can make some kind of a pasta dish and shred it on that. And I could also put it on my cottage pie or whatever it is I decide to make. So I did end up with 2 different kinds of cheese. I probably could have got by with just the one, but that's what I did. So there's that. And then I got this box of spaghetti, and typically I get a 1-pound box of spaghetti. This was a 2-pound box, but it came in underpriced, just like I had planned. So it was like maybe 5 or 10 cents less in the store than online. So it was fine. And the other thing is this. I will not use this whole box of spaghetti this month. So next month, if I only have, say, $100 to spend, I won't have to purchase spaghetti because I'll be sure to have some left over from this month. So this is one of the things that will carry me over into the next month. The other thing on my list was potatoes, and when I looked online, potatoes were like about $4.50 or $4.60, but in the store, this 5-pound bag of potatoes was only about $3.69, so I did get it. And we'll have potatoes quite a bit coming up, but there'll be potatoes in the beef stew, potatoes maybe if I make a cottage pie, and there can just be a baked potato on the side or parsley potatoes or whatever. So got some potatoes, and potatoes will go a long way. And then my husband can make the most beautiful fried potatoes. They look like a picture. So we could have fried potatoes that we can have for breakfast, country fried potatoes, and other things. So these potatoes will go a long way. And then I did pick up this package of red and orange sweet bell peppers because I use a lot of bell peppers in cooking, and then if I'm going to be doing my taco bowl or spaghetti or many other dishes, peppers kind of spice them up very nicely. So this will be good, and it can last me quite a bit of time. So what I could consider doing is cutting them all up, putting them in the freezer so to make sure they don't go bad over the next couple of weeks. But they should last for a couple of weeks in the fridge. So peppers. And then one of the things that I really need my young homemakers to purchase, particularly if you're just trying to build a pantry, is spices. And granted, I only had $100 to spend, 50 SNAP benefits, 50 of my own money, but I've got to start building my pantry. And Aldi's is a great place to do that. So I picked up this bottle of Italian seasoning. I did want to get parsley and oregano, but the Italian seasoning has parsley and oregano in it. So I was able to get this bottle for 99 cents. I picked up a bottle of lemon and pepper seasoning for 99 cents. And then this bottle of garlic powder for another 99 cents. Now, salt and pepper is something I've already got in my pantry, so I didn't need to pick that up. If you don't have salt and pepper in your pantry already, you're going to have to make that purchase. But once you make that purchase, you won't have to do it again for several months. So I thought I would take about 5 of my $100 and begin to build my pantry. So 3 sets of spices with that, and then also some baking soda, and it was 99 cents for this box of baking soda. And then a can of baking powder, and I think the baking powder was like $1.59 or something like that. But I was able to begin to build my pantry with these. Now, why do I need these things? Well, these are going to spice up whatever it is I'm cooking. So I'm going to need these in addition to salt and pepper. However, I do plan to do some baking. I'm going to try to make some bread this week. Bread this month. I'm also going to make some dumplings and pancakes and different things like that. Well, you need baking soda or baking powder for many of those items. If you're using sour milk for many items, you will need to have some baking soda when you've got some sour milk, sour cream, that kind of thing. And then baking powder goes in almost everything. So if I want to make biscuits, if I want to make pancakes, I need to have some baking powder. And I'm thinking I might like to try to make some some apple spice oatmeal muffins, and I'm going to need some baking powder for that. So I wanted to get some of those. And again, I just took about $5 to begin to build that pantry. So now you might be saying, well, you know what though? Do I really have those $5 to spare? Well, you've got to start building it. And remember, we were going to go to the Community Harvest Food Bank to pick up some things to augment our grocery haul this month, and also to the Township trustee and pick up a few things there to augment our grocery supply. Now, something else I picked up, now this one was pricey, and I really thought long and hard about it. And this is the no sugar added applesauce. And this applesauce was about $3 for this bottle. And I thought, do I really want to buy this? Well, my husband likes to have applesauce in the morning, sometimes with toast with breakfast. But also, as I mentioned earlier, I can make applesauce muffins. You can have applesauce on the side as fruit. You can put it in so many things. And sometimes you can replace oil with applesauce. And I'm not sure about the egg, but you can certainly replace oil with applesauce. So it was certainly a good bargain. So I did pick up the applesauce. It was on my original list, and so I still came in under budget, so I'm good there. And then I picked up a can of black beans. Now I do have a bag of black beans, and again, all these were on my budget, but I picked up the can of black beans because when I make my taco bowl, I'm not sure when I'm going to do it, and if I have not already prepared a big pot of black beans so that I've got some ready for the taco bowl, then I'm going to need something that I can just dump out and get that taco bowl ready pretty quickly. So I just bought 1 can of the black beans. So like I said, this bag of black beans is going to go a long way. And when I do make it, I'm going to make a huge pot so that I can have black bean soup, black beans as a side dish, maybe black beans for whatever I want to have black beans for. This is going to last me quite a while. And then I did pick up 2 cans of corn because again, 2 cans of corn in our taco bowls, corn as a side dish, corn in soups and stews and that kind of thing. So, and canned corn will hold up very nicely in your soups and stews. You just want to add it toward the end, like when everything else is about done, then you can just add the corn in. And I suppose I could do the same thing for the green beans. Once the soup and the stew and everything is pretty much all cooked together, then I can add the green beans or the corn last because they just need to heat through because they're already cooked if they're canned. So there's that. And then I did pick up 3 boxes of this Jiffy corn muffin mix. Now I will make my own cornbread many times on my own corn muffins. I've got a couple different sizes of muffin tins and I do like to make my own corn muffins. However, there was no cornmeal in the store today, none. So I couldn't buy cornmeal by itself. So I did end up buying these 3 boxes of corn muffin mix. 1 box will make like 8 muffins, and so there's enough corn muffins for us to have 2 meals. Or I could pour it in like a little round cake pan, and then I could just have like a pan of cornbread if I choose to do it that way. But typically I'm going to make the corn muffins, and then you can have corn muffins for breakfast with jelly and butter. You can have them for lunch with soups and stews and greens and whatever else you're having. So yeah, so I got 3 boxes of that. And 67 cents, I tell you what, I remember when you could buy those for a quarter a box. Then they went up to 50 and then 59 cents. Now they're 67 cents, which is better than 75 cents. So I typically will buy cornmeal so that I can make my own, but there was no cornmeal to be had, so we got that. Now here's something else. I got 2 cartons of eggs. I had originally planned to just get 1 carton of eggs on my budget, but these eggs were, I believe they were like $3.45, I think the eggs were. $3.99 for the eggs, which was pretty darn good because I've been hearing about eggs being $5, $6, and $7. One of my friends who lives in Florida said eggs in her neighborhood were $8 a carton. So I thought for $3.99, I'm going to go ahead and pick up 2 cartons of eggs, and then we'll have eggs for breakfast. In addition to scrambled eggs or fried eggs, I can also make omelets, and then of course you need eggs for baking. So I picked up some of this too. Now, between you and me, I also have some dried whole powdered eggs on my shelf, and I'm going to begin using those whole dried powdered eggs from my prep shelf in baking so that I can conserve my eggs like this. But this is where we are. So I went ahead and got the 2 cartons because I thought that's going to be a good bargain. And eggs have such a good protein value. So we got the 2 cartons of eggs instead of 1. But I just omitted a couple other things on my list so that I could get the eggs. Rice. Got this 2-pound bag of rice. It's long grain white rice. And we eat a lot of rice here, so I could have rice and beans. We might have chicken and rice. I might put rice in soups to make it a little bit more hearty. So many different things you can do with rice. So, picked up this bag of rice. And then 2 cans of petite diced tomatoes. So if I'm going to have our chili this month, or taco bowls or some kind of pasta or sauce or whatever. I can make my own with these cans of tomato sauce. They were 47 cents a can, so for $1 I was able to get 8 ounces, well, 2 of those. And then I've got my petite diced tomatoes, and then I did buy those 2 packets of chili seasoning mix, and then I've got other spices in my pantry that I can use, that I can make up some pretty good pasta sauce. And I did buy that bottle of Italian seasoning, so we'll be having some kind of pasta dish, and we'll be using those with that. And I wanted to buy some noodles, like the noodles you use for chicken and noodles, or chicken and noodle casserole, or chicken and noodle soup, but they didn't have any. The only noodles they had per se were these spiral noodles, those long spiral noodles, and they were kind of big, and I don't like those kind of noodles, but I do like penne pasta. So I did buy this penne pasta, and I can make a chicken and penne pasta casserole or something like that with it. So we'll see what I do with it, but there's that. And then I do plan to make pancakes, so I needed a bottle of pancake syrup, so I got that. And then I got this bag of flour for like $2.15. Now, I did see frozen pancakes in the freezer section for about $1.25, $1.50. You got like, I don't know, maybe a dozen pancakes in the package. But I thought this bag of flour that was $2.15, I can make enough pancakes for the free world, in addition to other things. So with the flour and the baking soda, not the baking soda, but the baking powder, baking soda if we're making some kind of a sourish kind of pancakes, if we put sour cream or something like that in there, I can make my own. So that's why I say you need to begin to build your pantry, and I thought it was going to be important that I buy some flour on my limited grocery budget so that I can begin to plan ahead. If I don't use all of my flour this month, I might go ahead and buy another bag next month just so I can begin to build up my supply of flour. And then, of course, I need some sugar. And again, it was on budget. I got the price for it was pretty good in the store, and I can use the sugar to make any of the baking items that I need to make. So for my pancakes or my muffins and different things like that, I've got sugar, and I won't use a whole 4 pounds of sugar in a month. I rarely do, but next month I might go ahead and buy another bag. Again, just as I said, as I begin to build my pantry on a limited budget, these are some of the staple items you might want to pick up. And I'm going to store them in glass containers. So, sugar. Picked up some oatmeal. Now, this oatmeal was not the oatmeal that I had on my list. I was going to get a box of a carton of the Quick Oats. This was probably about 50 to 75 cents higher. This is the old-fashioned rolled oats. And I have to tell you, I prefer the rolled oats, and if you cook them just right, you can get them kind of creamy, and they're so nice. So I decided to go ahead and get these instead of the Quick Oats. And since most of the items that I was picking up was a little bit less than what it originally said online, I knew I would still be within my budget to get it. So I got these rolled oats instead. And then a carton of milk. So I realized on my grocery list, I had on there a gallon of milk. And I thought, I rarely buy a gallon of milk. Why I put the gallon of milk on there, I don't know. But I ended up just buying a half gallon of this almond milk, which is what we tend to prefer. And it was on budget, so I got that. And this will probably last us for a month. And I can use it in baking. We could use it in the oatmeal or whatever else we need milk for. And I already showed you those things, which was my baking things. So now let's take a look at what I plan to make with the foods that I got. And I did make up my menu before I went to the grocery store. I thought about what I wanted to cook, and then I made my list, and then I went from there. And so I had planned to make roast chicken on Sunday and divide the roast chicken into 4 parts and have 3 other days to use the other 3/4 of the chicken. Since I didn't get the chicken and I got the turkey, I'm certainly going to be able to get more than 4 meals out of that turkey, which is over 10 pounds. So we'll have turkey and dressing one day, and then another day we'll do a turkey pot pie. Maybe I might do some kind of a turkey pasta soup, you know, since I couldn't get the noodles I wanted. I might do some kind of a turkey soup with penne pasta in it, or it could be a turkey casserole, it could be turkey salad. And I can also kind of grind up some of the turkey and do like a turkey with, like ground turkey with spaghetti sauce. Or, remember I got that spaghetti squash is one of the things that they're giving at the Community Harvest Food Bank right now. I just happened to pick one up myself at the grocery store, but you could make a turkey and squash dinner with that. And a turkey chili, all kinds of things. So there's quite a bit I can do with the turkey. The beef stew I'm going to make with that beef stew meat that you saw, and then with potatoes and the carrots and the onions and the celery, I can make beef stew. Beef stew serves anywhere from 6 to 8, and it can serve 8 if you like maybe make biscuits or corn muffins or something like that on the side. And then we could have applesauce, or I could make fried apples to go along with that. And then the sausage, I like to make zuppa toscana soup with that mild Italian sausage. However, I didn't buy kale or anything like that, but I could still make a sausage and pasta dish with penne pasta. We have an Italian restaurant in our town called Casas, and one of the things that they have that's really good is like a sausage and pasta dish. And I thought this would be great for that. So I could make some kind of a sausage and pasta dish with penne pasta and the sausage and some of the, maybe the tomato sauce or just the peppers or something like that. And then with the tuna, I could also make some kind of a tuna dish, you know, tuna salad with the eggs and the tuna and the celery, and that way, or a tuna casserole with penne pasta. I tell you what, I am really missing that I couldn't get the kind of pasta noodles that I wanted, but it is what it is, so I had to get what was there. And then also, I could do chicken and dumplings, or I could do chicken and dumplings with those drumsticks. So those drumsticks, I could put some barbecue sauce on them, so we could have barbecue chicken drumsticks with some potatoes or veggies or something one day. I can make chicken and dumplings another day, and I can make the dumplings with the flour that I purchased. And then of course the taco bowl. So with the taco bowl, I start that with a layer of rice on the bottom, and then some black beans, and then some corn, and then some tomatoes, and then some cheese. And then if I'm going to have any kind of meat with that, then I would like cook the meat with some kind of a tomato sauce and spices, and that will go on top. Or we could have a couple of meatless meals as well, using the black beans as our protein. And then keep it in mind that some of the kinds of things you can get from the food bank might be hamburger helper. Now I don't have that, but let's say I had gotten some hamburger helper from the food bank, I could have made something with that using some of that ground beef or some of that ground turkey, that kind of thing. So those are the kinds of things that I am planning to make. Now, one thing that I want to make perfectly clear in this video is that I am trying to help people who have limited food budgets, who have a low-income food budget, to figure out ways to stretch their food budget. I had a couple people say that they thought I was being insensitive because I was simulating this and not actually living it. Well, one of the things that I try to do on my channel is help homemakers do the best they can with what they have. So I'm trying to help you figure that out. And some of the things that I know that you can do is I think about some of the kind of meals that my mom used to make when I was younger, and we had a lot of soups and stews and casseroles and things like that. And then my husband said in his family they had a lot of beans and rice and those kinds of things. And those are the kinds of things that you can use to stretch a meal. Now, if your family doesn't like beans, then that's not going to be an option for you, but you can certainly stretch a meal with like rice and greens and other kinds of vegetables and those kinds of things. And the other thing that I want to make sure, oh, I think I lost track. And the other thing that I want to make sure that I'm making clear is that if you have a limited food budget, there are other community resources that I encourage you to try to take advantage of. Many churches in your community will have food pantries, but these tend to be non-perishable items or dry food, like your dry canned goods and box foods and things like that. Your community food banks, like the Community Harvest Food Bank, because they have that kind of a thing across the country, they tend to have more produce and things like that. In the summertime, when you've got your farm to table programs going on, a lot of the farmers will make arrangements with the other pantries to bring in fresh produce so they can have those things there. However, you have to do the best you can with the resources that are available in your community. So if your township trustee only allows you to go twice a year, make sure you put it on your calendar so that you go twice a year and take advantage of that. If they're giving you a list of other food pantries to take advantage of, make sure that at least once a month or once every couple of months you try to visit some of those pantries so that you can augment your food budget. Because regardless of how limited your income is, right now food prices are only going to get higher, so you're going to have to do what you can to try to take advantage of all the resources that are available. So let me know what you would like for me to try to do next. I do have some videos that I've been working on where I've actually been making some of the food that I've been talking about, and I'll try to get those videos up. But let me know what you need me to do next, because I really want to be of service. That is my word for 2025, is service. So let me know what I can do next to help you figure it out. So if you found this video helpful, you'll be sure to love my 20-item capsule grocery haul, or my video where I tell you the 7 categories of food that you need to have in your pantry. And I'll see you next time.